All right, so you're thinking about Hong Kong. Looks like V Causeway Bay serviced apartments are on your radar.
And you've done your homework. You've sent us marketing stuff, comparisons with other places,
Hmm.
even neighborhood guides.
That's awesome. So we're not just going to look at what V Causeway Bay says about themselves.
Right.
We'll see if it actually matches up with what you need, what you want.
It seems like they're trying to sell a whole lifestyle, not just a place to stay. That's pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah, it's like a step off the elevator, boom, you're in your apartment.
And no awkward hallways, no neighbors right there.
Exactly. Total privacy. And they even have some apartments with private terraces.
Overlooking the city. Wow.
Plus, it could be cheaper than some of those other, super fancy places.
Yeah, that starting price of 45,000 Hong Kong dollars. That's a good starting point.
Puts them above places like the Luna, which is more budget friendly.
Definitely.
But below the crazy expensive ones like Lanson Place.
So they're aiming for that affordable luxury, I guess.
Okay, but affordable luxury for who? Like, who are they picturing living here?
Well, they keep using this phrase, luxury as a lifestyle, over and over.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
And they talk about these spacious layouts, which is huge in a city like Hong Kong. Packed.
Makes sense. Everyone wants more space.
I think it makes you feel, more important, more exclusive when you have space to breathe.
Yeah, it's like your little escape from the craziness.
Exactly. And it's not just the space. It's the concierge service, private pool. Even the rental terms are flexible.
Yeah.
They really want to take care of everything for you.
It's that we handle it all, you just relax kind of thing.
But the question is, do you need all that? I mean, does that kind of pampering make your trip feel luxurious?
It's true. Some people would rather explore on their own, figure things out themselves.
Totally.
Okay, now speaking of exploring, V Causeway Bay is right in the middle of everything. Shopping, dining, entertainment, you name it.
They really push that in the heart of the action angle.
Well, Causeway Bay is pretty intense. Vibrant, bustling, never a quiet moment.
That's for sure. So, would you like that? Being in the middle of that energy?
Some people love it. They feed off of it. Others, not so much.
Yeah.
And the sources mention festivals, the Rugby Sevens. It sounds nonstop.
If you want to be in the thick of it, soak it all up, then Causeway Bay is perfect.
But if you're looking for a more relaxed, chill vibe, it might not be the best fit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Even though it's super convenient, for some people, it might just be too much.
So it's worth thinking about that before you, get swept up in the marketing hype.
Okay, so we've talked about the vibe, the location, but what about the actual apartments themselves?
Right. What makes V Causeway Bay different from the rest?
Like, do they have anything special going on?
Well, they've got this one apartment per floor thing.
Oh, yeah, you get an entire floor. That's pretty unique.
It is, and it really plays into that whole privacy thing they're going for.
Especially in Hong Kong. I mean, space is a luxury.
Imagine getting off the elevator and not having to share a hallway with anyone.
Yeah, like you're entering your own little world.
Your domain.
And I saw they mentioned private terraces for some apartments.
With those views, that's got to be amazing.
Pretty rare to find that, especially in a city.
It is a real luxury, especially in such a busy, dense environment. You could relax out there, have a barbecue.
Barbecue. Now that's a good selling point.
Some units even have a soaking tub. You can picture yourself out there under the stars.
Wow. Okay, now I'm sold. But how important is a private terrace to someone looking for luxury? I mean, in your experience.
It's a big deal for a lot of people. It's not just about the space itself. It's the feeling,
Yeah.
freedom, exclusivity, being connected to the outdoors.
So even in a city, you can create your own little retreat.
Exactly.
That's smart. They're not just selling square footage. They're selling a feeling.
A feeling of luxury, privacy, escape.
And they have the features to back it up. The terraces,
Yeah.
the direct elevator access. It's not just talk.
So they seem committed to this luxurious experience.
Okay, but how do they actually deliver on that promise? Like, let's look at what they offer, see if it lives up to the hype.
Let's get into the details.
Okay, so what about these modern kitchen facilities? What does that actually mean at V Causeway Bay?
It sounds fancy,
Yeah.
but it's more than just like a microwave and a tiny fridge,
Right.
They're talking about fully equipped kitchens,
Mm-hmm.
like top-of-the-line appliances, everything you need.
So they're aiming at people who actually want to cook on vacation.
Yeah,
I mean, I get it. Sometimes it's nice to have a real kitchen.
especially on longer trips.
But who wants to spend their vacation cooking when there are so many incredible restaurants around?
Well, some people find cooking relaxing, After a long day of sightseeing, it can be nice to just stay in and cook a meal.
True, and it definitely feels more like home, not just living out of a suitcase.
And let's be real, it can save you a lot of money, not eating out for every meal.
Yeah, especially in Hong Kong. Speaking of which, they mentioned a washer-dryer combo.
Oh yeah, that's a big plus.
Laundry services can be so expensive there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Having laundry in your apartment, that's a game changer.
It's so convenient. No more searching for a laundromat or dealing with hotel schedules.
Do your laundry whenever you want.
Exactly. You're in control. Okay, so V Causeway Bay has some nice perks inside the apartments, but how do they stack up against other places?
Good question.
Price-wise, features, all that.
Well, the information you sent over actually mentions a couple of good comparisons. Lanson Place
Oh, yeah, the super luxurious one.
and the Luna, which is a bit more budget-friendly.
Right. And we already talked about V Causeway Bay starting at 45,000 Hong Kong dollars.
So they're right in the middle, price-wise.
Trying to hit that sweet spot.
But price isn't everything. You have to look at what you're getting for that price. Lanson Place, for example, they're known for their over-the-top amenities and service. Like, they really cater to your every need.
I've heard stories.
But V Causeway Bay, even though they talk about personalized service, they might not be at that same level.
I guess it depends what you're looking for, right? Some people want to be pampered.
Found
Others
you?
are more independent.
And then you have the Luna, which is more affordable, but probably doesn't have the same level of luxury.
It all comes down to priorities. What's most important to you? Price, amenities, location, service.
You have to weigh it all out.
And this is where it gets interesting because V Causeway Bay seems to be mixing all those things together.
They're not as fancy as Lanson Place,
Right.
but definitely more luxurious than the Luna.
They're trying to appeal to a wider range of travelers.
Exactly. People who want a bit of luxury, but don't want to spend a fortune.
It's like they're saying you can have it all. Luxury, convenience, privacy.
And it won't break the bank.
And it's not just talk. They have those specific features to back it up.
The one apartment per floor, the modern kitchens, the private terraces.
So it's a real value proposition, something unique.
Now, how do you actually book a stay at this place?
I'm looking at the materials here. It seems pretty easy. You pick the apartment you want,
Right.
and then contact them either by phone or email.
They say they usually respond within 48 hours.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Shows they're on top of things.
And they keep mentioning dedicated customer support, personalized service during booking. So it's not like you're just dealing with a website,
It's that personal touch.
part of the luxury is a lifestyle thing.
They even mention some exclusive offers, rewards programs.
Oh, nice.
So it's worth checking out their website or maybe signing up for their newsletter.
Good idea. They seem to be actively looking for bookings, rewarding loyal customers. Always a good sign.
Okay, so we talked about the apartments, how they compare to other places, how to book.
Yep.
Now, what about the neighborhood itself? We've mentioned Causeway Bay,
The heart of it all.
but let's really get into it. What's it actually like to stay there?
From what we've seen, Causeway Bay can be a bit of a mixed bag. It's exciting, vibrant, the center of Hong Kong's shopping and dining scene. But it can also be a bit much.
Yeah, crowded, noisy.
Maybe a bit overwhelming for some.
It's not for everyone, but for those who love that energy, it's amazing. You step outside and you're right in the middle of it all.
Picture it. Street vendors, neon lights, the smell of street food everywhere.
It's sensory overload.
And the shopping is incredible. High-end boutiques, independent shops, you name it.
Hours of browsing, finding those hidden gems.
And we can't forget the food. Causeway Bay is a foodie's paradise.
Michelin-starred restaurants.
Street food stalls.
Everything.
It's not just about shopping and eating, though. Causeway Bay also has a vibrant cultural scene. They mentioned the Rugby Sevens, a big international event.
I bet that's crazy.
And throughout the year, there are festivals, street performances, art galleries, always something going on.
Sounds like you could never get bored. But all that excitement could also be exhausting.
Right, you got to think about your own energy levels.
Do you want to be in the middle of that chaos, or would you prefer something quieter?
Even though V Causeway Bay has those peaceful apartments, you're still stepping out into that busy environment.
Good point. Do you want to come back to a quiet retreat after a busy day, or have a more chill neighborhood from the start? Okay, let's talk transportation.
Yeah.
Causeway Bay has some great public transport options. Buses, trams, the MTR.
All right there.
So you can easily explore the rest of Hong Kong.
No need for taxis or private cars.
You can be in central Wan Chai, even Kowloon, in minutes. So even though you're in the heart of Causeway Bay, You're not stuck there. You have the excitement right outside your door,
Right.
but the freedom to see other parts of the city too.
The best of both worlds.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. The apartments, the neighborhood, the competition.
Quite a bit.
But now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. What's the overall impression of V Causeway Bay?
They're going for a specific vibe, that's for sure.
They're targeting a traveler who wants luxury, but not that flashy, over-the-top kind of luxury.
It's more understated, refined. It's about comfort, convenience, and exclusivity without being too showy.
They want you to feel pampered.
But not overwhelmed.
Exactly. It feels modern and stylish.
Not like those stuffy old hotels.
Right. This is something fresh. It feels more relevant to today's traveler.
And it seems authentic. They're not just throwing around fancy words like luxury and exclusivity. They actually have the features and amenities to support those claims.
It's a good mix of marketing and substance. They're selling a dream, but they're giving you the tools to make that dream a reality.
They're not just offering a place to stay. They're offering a lifestyle.
A lifestyle of convenience, comfort, and just that feeling of elevated living.
But is it the right lifestyle for you?
That's the big question. We've given you the information, the insights, the comparisons. Now it's time to focus on you and what you want.
What matters most to you?
What are your priorities when you're choosing a place to stay?
What are your must-haves? Yeah, it's easy to get swayed by those fancy brochures, but you got to think about what you actually want from your trip.
Right. Like, do you really need someone to cater to your every whim? Or do you enjoy figuring things out on your own?
Some people love to be pampered, others not so much. And what about that private terrace? Is that a deal breaker for you? Or would you rather be right in the middle of the action?
Location can be huge, too. And we can't forget about the practical stuff, you know?
Absolutely.
Does the price of V Causeway Bay fit your budget? And those amenities they're offering, will you actually use them? Or would you rather spend that money on something else?
It all boils down to personal preference. What matters most to you?
Exactly. We're just giving you the pieces to the puzzle. You decide how they fit together to create your perfect Hong Kong experience.
And remember, there's no one right answer here. Hong Kong has something for everyone. Some people will love the energy of Causeway Bay. Others might prefer a quieter spot. Some people want luxury. Others want affordability. It's all good.
It's about finding what works for you. So as you're planning your trip, keep these things in mind.
Right.
What are your priorities? What's important to you? Don't be afraid to ask yourself those questions.
It's your trip. Make it your own.
Did anything in the sources you sent jump out at you? Anything that surprised you or made you think twice? Anything you're excited about?
Sometimes it's the smallest details that make the biggest difference, you know?
Like maybe you're not a big cook, but that washer dryer in the apartment is a game changer.
Or maybe you hadn't even considered a Causeway Bay before, but now the energy of the neighborhood is calling your name.
It's about those little things that spark your imagination, those things that help you see your trip coming to life.
And hey, if V Causeway Bay is one of those sparks, awesome. If not, that's okay too. The important thing is that you're thinking about these things, exploring your options.
So as you keep planning your Hong Kong adventure, remember what we talked about today?
And don't be afraid to dig a little deeper. Ask the tough questions.
Because the goal is to create a trip that you'll love, one that's filled with excitement, joy, and amazing memories. And hey, if you do end up booking V Causeway Bay, let us know. We'd love to hear about it.
Until then, happy travels.